I hope you all are doing well. I just wanted to pop in for a little bit. I realized as I was thinking about, what am I going to talk about today? There's such a huge variety of experiences that are happening right now. And this is really based on our own work. This is based on how we are choosing to move through this process. I'm finding that, again, I like to just try and talk about what I'm experiencing. Um, but I realize that my experience may not be kind of the norm anymore. But yeah, that's what I'm talking about because that's what I know. Over the last couple of weeks, there's been an intense amount of pressure in the fields. And the way that I have kind of experienced and witnessed this is just through these bubbling up of emotions and of thoughts, right? So we can get to a point where we don't necessarily have to have these experiences in our physical life anymore in order to reorder through these energies. So we can be having, right, crisis of job, relationship, family, health, all these kinds of things happening. A lot of us have gone through that already. So we're not necessarily having that physical experience of it yet. But yet we're having the emotions kind of come up again. What this last 2 weeks has kind of felt, and even before that, really, it's like we know we have to go through this passage through the solstice. We're going into the new year. But before we get there, there's this really long hallway, and we know we have to walk down it, right? But it's a little bit dark. It's a little bit, we're not quite sure what's in there. Once we start taking these steps, we realize there are these recesses in the walls, right? Or there are these doorways. And the way that it's felt to me is like, you come in front of this doorway, and this doorway has a specific index, right? So it's related to our triggers, and it's related to whatever it may be for ourselves. So everyone is experiencing this corridor and this passage completely differently based on their own field. It may be this specific doorway is related to, my fear in relation to my kids, in relation to money, and the choices that I have made surrounding that, right? And how is this coming up, and what needs to be adjusted, and how am I going to change this moving forward, right? So, that's just one doorway in this enormous hallway. And what it feels like is it's like I'm getting scanned, I'm getting zapped with this energy to find where these blockages are in my system, to find where this density is still holding in, and then it's getting reordered through. And this is happening over and over and over and over again. And it's like through the course of a day, you could be doing, this kind of like up and down, up and down. Sometimes the days, like it's a huge, so it's like this pressure over these several days, over the same issue. Some days it feels like you wake up and there's this huge amount of pressure. You have a couple thoughts around something and then it's gone, right? And then it feels like, oh my God, it's a brand new day again. It's just, I don't want to say it's chaotic, right? Because there is this very grounded feeling to it that we're very supported. There's a lot of structure underneath what we're doing and what we're moving through. And yet the emotional kind of volatility that we can experience if we're not quite sure what's happening. So really it's this continuous scan of the fields and this continuous reordering, and how are we moving through this? And, are we maintaining our own while this is going on through our system, right? It's like we're still having to go out into the world and do our normal daily things. So it's like, while this is even happening, are we staying grounded in our interactions with people in the world, right? So it's like we're going through several processes at once, and we're really being toned and tuned to what our specific work is moving through this gateway and into the future here over the next, coming years. So while there's this sense of like, kind of because it hasn't stopped, right? It's been this continuous kind of up and down, moving through so many different energies. There's, like I said, there's still this very grounded feeling though that yes, all is well. Yes, we are moving forward. Yes, we are supported. Yes, the energies are certainly here, squeezing out some shit right now. But it's all like there's a very good base that has been set, of course, depending on the work that we've been doing. Now, there are individuals, right, who are just kind of going through hell right now. And that's not to say they haven't been doing their work, but they're experiencing this in a different way. So like I said, there's a variety of experiences that are happening within this kind of same set of energy scans. And then there are those who are kind of just holding steady, like I'm just walking through this, I'm going to wait to see what's on the other side kind of thing, right? And again, this is all in conjunction with what our mission is and what we're choosing to do in terms of how we're handling these progressions. If we start to look at unions, and I don't want to talk a whole lot about that, but again, so typical of unions to come in together and then, whoa, mismatch, mismatch, mismatch in the fields, right? So coming back out and recalibrating. Nothing new there. However, today, I know when I woke up, there was like earlier in the day, there was this real break. There was this lift to the fields, which really felt like I was like, okay, what's happening here? I felt like I was kind of moving into a different direction. And then this energy hit and it felt really heavy and really dense. And I started to look and it was really strange, although not completely unexpected. Through the galactic energies, I felt like there was a lot of energy that was trying to infiltrate. It's almost like these imposter energies trying to land into the fields. And I have not seen this before. I've not seen it in this way, so it surprised me a little bit. But then again, I've had a sense of certain, there's always energies that are trying to kind of sneak their way in through these gates. But this was like total seal through the feminine, not happening. And the amount of pressure that created in the field was really surprising. Like I've not felt this to this degree, I don't think. So again, this feeling of like, okay, well, I'm just going to hold steady. Like I'm just going to do my thing. Simultaneously, while it's happening, we're still receiving, right, all these structures in regards to updated missions through the next coming years. We're still building through the union, obviously, the field protocols, I will just call them. Each union has their specific indexing as well. And so that continues to move forward. So there's this sense of like, yes, all is well and all is moving along. And yet there is this level of kind of chaos and mismatch and clearing and readjusting through all of this. So many, 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 many levels of things happening. So that's, it's so hard to speak to just one aspect of this. But like I said, today is a little bit of like this odd kind of break. And I know we're moving into more. In fact, what I've been feeling is like, I really don't know if I'm going to be able to make it through this, because I feel like by the end of this, I'm going to be crawling on my hands and knees, because what I feel is coming now is just, it's so super intense. It really is just this pressure squeezing out everything that cannot stay. And, where are we going? We're going to full alignment. We're going to this true source energy. And so everything that doesn't mesh with that is just, it's going. We can't take it with us. And so, there's this feeling of like, how much more can we take? Well, it's like, well, a lot. Like we can take a lot more because there's so much in there that really shouldn't be there anyway. I know for myself what's been happening is like I've been getting downloads and downloads and downloads of information. It's really like almost unbelievable. But at the same time, it's like everything we have in this world right now, all these written histories, all these things we've heard about, ascension and all these false informations and false systems, like we have digested that. We've taken that into our bodies. We've taken that into our fields as truth. And none of that is true. And so what we're coming back to is the true knowledge and the true wisdom. And we're having access to our halls and our libraries. And if you tap into those energies, they are so incredibly refreshing and invigorating. And it's like, I didn't even know that I could feel this way here on the planet. When you start to feel the, really it has this feeling, what I was experiencing the other day was like, oh my God, I'm receiving all these scrolls back. Like there were all these like holes, where these scrolls were being placed back in. And it's like, all these things were being returned to me. And it was like, as if, you're coming home and you realize like, oh my God, there's this inheritance waiting for me. I didn't even know I was connected to this family lineage, right? But suddenly they're like, oh, you're like the missing queen you're the long lost whatever, and like, look at who your family is, look at what you are connected to, look at what you are capable of, look at the changes that you can make in the world, because you have so much power within you, right? And this isn't, this controlling power, this controlling energy. This is an energy that comes from deep within our core, from deep within our connection to source, from deep within our compassion and our potential, to draw this out of other people, to connect them into their potential, and to feel these deep, deep tones of reconnection, to know that, these energies that we've been working with, that we've been connected to, it's just barely the base minimum of like what the true reality is, right? So there's this, again, it's the return of this inheritance. It's the return of this connection to our true lineages that is coming up. So all these energies are also here too. So it's a little bit confusing, because at times it's like, oh yeah, I can feel this. But yet what's happening out here in the reality is like really chaotic. So, but through all this, right, it's like we're establishing, we're grounding, we are becoming stronger, we are aligning to who we truly are. Part of the things I was seeing too, right, it's like it was like I was on a ship and we were returning to Earth, and there was this feeling of like, wait, but I am there, but I'm also returning, right? So there's this galactic reconnection that is happening. Part of what was so beautiful about that was that the realization that, Earth has been quarantined. We have been quarantined here, right? And these galactic energies, they have felt that as well, right? As much as we have felt that we've been cut off, we've been abandoned, we've been left here to suffer. Those lineages, those energies that are out there that are assisting, like, they have felt that disconnection as well. There was an immense amount of grief in relation to, and the recognition, right, that like, as much as I feel like I've been disconnected and someone just royally screwed me over, like, these outside galactic energies have also felt this disconnect, and the grief of not being able to fully provide like physical evidence and physical signs to us of what we truly are connected to, so there, it's not just us, right? It's this reunion energy that is coming in, and it's just, when you start to connect to it, it's like, oh my goodness, the riches that are here for us, so powerful and so strong. And yet through the human, we're still like, oh God, please, like, please, give me something to hold on to here, that isn't so intangible. So I think I'm going to stop there. I'm not sure that was helpful whatsoever, but just feeling to kind of like get in on this break a little bit. We're still moving forward, still a lot of just kind of roller coaster feelings, but that we are deeply, deeply reconnecting in energetically, back into the earth and back also through the galactics. It's an undeniable energy that is coming in. So if you're feeling lost, if you're feeling a little bit thrown off and you're not sure what's happening, just know, this is really this kind of holding period right now. It's like we can feel the docking, right? Like these energies are coming in, they're coming into dock, they're coming into land, but there's all these preparations that have to happen, and really that's what's occurring here through this, through these next couple of weeks. So, all right, I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. We'll talk soon. Take good care.